Okay, so you may be wondering, how is it that this person and that person is going to want to listen to you? How do you get people to really come to you for the answers? Well, the key is that you want to learn how to become an expert. And this is what I'm going to share with you, 3 strategies, 3 tips on how to become an expert here on ILEAD TV. Stay tuned. Okay, well, welcome back to ILEAD TV, where today we're going to focus on 3 strategies that I'm going to give you that's going to help you to learn how to become an expert. How to become an expert. And many of you may be asking, why would someone want to listen to me? Or you? Why would someone want to come to you for your advice and the things that you have to share? Well, it's because they find what you have to be valuable. And I'm going to show you how you can increase the value for yourself and how you can learn to become the expert in your industry or your niche. And I'm going to show you using 3 specific strategies. Strategy number 1 is that you want to learn and establish what your passion is. What is it that you can do without having someone to push you forward to doing every day? That you can get up out of the bed, right? And you can do it without someone having to force you to do it. What is it that you can do all day and think nothing of it? You can just continue to do it. What is it that you sometimes dream about, right? After you've done it all day, and you just dream about it right after you've done it all day. Think about that one thing. I know for myself, of course, I had to sit back and think about that many years ago. What is it that I love to do? You know, I started, of course, with the area of goal setting. Many of you know about that book I created called Goals, Guidelines on Achieving Life Success. And I said, well, some of the things that I've done in my life, I've established goals for myself, and I went out and I've accomplished them. Okay, so I thought I was going to position myself as the, goal setting expert, right? Well, as I moved along, I realized it was something much bigger than that, and it pertained to speaking. I loved speaking. I had a passion to share a message, and I knew that other people wanted to share a message as well, based on my research, and therefore I began to establish myself as, the queen, America's queen, or top leader as it pertains to speaker coaching and helping people to establish and expand the reach of their message. And so this is where I am today. Of course, many people see champion builder, next to my name on some of the social networks, and yes, I build champions around the world in the area of being a speaking professional. So this is the difference. That's the relationship there. But you want to make sure that you establish your passion, just like I did. It may take, of course, 24 hours, or it may even take a month, or even 6 months. But as long as you begin to look at and locate, identify what your passion is, that's the key to learning how to become an expert. Tip number 2, or strategy number 2, that you want to look at here specifically and learning how to become an expert is getting results. Getting results. Look at the results that you've obtained as a result of engaging in your area of passion, or that niche area, whether it is health or relationships or business and wealth. Whatever it is that your area or your passionate area is, that is where you want to look at where you're able to gather or obtain results as a result, right, of being in that particular niche or industry. What results have you gathered? What is your story based on those results? No one has a story like you do. You have a unique story, a slant, of course, in that particular area that can be like no one else. Everyone's story is unique. And so you have a story, you have results that you gathered based on your years of experience, and you have to begin to use that for your advantage. You have to begin to position yourself as the expert by being able to express and share your results and your story. So that is tip number 2 when learning how to become an expert. Tip number 3 that you want to look at when learning how to become an expert is this. You want to begin to position yourself as the expert. And you may be saying, okay, well, Lakeisha, how do I do this? You already told me and you explained to me that I need to have a passion area, right? Or a niche area to focus in on. Then you explain to me that I have to have these results and experience that allows me to have a unique story. And now you're sitting here, or you're standing here telling me that I have to now position myself. How do I position myself? Well, doing those previous two steps, right? You want to begin to have your story, share your experience, share your results. This is how you position yourself as the expert. Position yourself as being the person, the one, the authority that people will come to if they have answers in that particular area. It involves branding. If you haven't branded yourself in a particular area, don't be frightened, don't get worried. There is still an opportunity to brand yourself in a unique part of a niche. Notice I said part. You don't want to allow yourself to be in a niche area where it's too complex, too broad. Just saying that you're a leadership expert. That's a little too broad. You want to narrow that down and get more specific. Who is your target audience, for example? Is it women? Is it men? Is it women who are aging? Or is it men who are just at the peak of life? Who is it that you're targeting? And then, is it something whereby you're looking at peak performance, or are you going to help them specifically in an area of leadership as it pertains to skills development? What is it that you're going to focus on as it pertains to leadership? And that is just an example. Leadership being a topic, it's just too broad, too complex. Narrow it down so that people would know that you are the authority in that particular area within that complex niche. So we've talked about 3 tips today on how to become an expert. And let's quickly review those 3 tips. Tip number 1 that we've discussed is that you want to establish or identify your passion area. What is it that you're passionate about? What is it that you can do that no one has to force you to do? You can just do it any time of the day without any worries or happenstance. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, as it pertains to learning to become an expert, is getting results, sharing your story. Of course, you want to make sure that your story is put together well and that it contains the results that you've gathered as it pertains to that particular niche area. So that is tip number 2 that we discussed. Tip number 3 that we went over is positioning. How are you going to brand yourself in that niche? How are you going to set yourself to be different? Is it going to be that you're going to have unique colors? What area within that broad, complex niche are you going to focus on? Who is going to be your target market? That's how you begin to narrow it down, right? So that it's not so broad. There's too many people in that niche area of leadership or fashion or social media. Narrow it down so that you can get even more specific. So there you have it. 3 tips today. 3 tips that's going to help you learn how to become an expert. Make sure you begin to implement these things immediately. All right. Well, now that I have received and given you all this information, be sure, comment below the video. Let me know how this information is helping you to build your business, establish your expert platform so that you can go forth and be successful as an entrepreneur. Share this information with those in your network, but also make sure you like the video as well and subscribe to this channel. Well, I want to thank you here for visiting ILEAD TV today. Be sure to come back next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where you're going to get that information that's going to help you to be able to build and establish and hone in on your skills as an entrepreneur. Stay tuned for next week's episode. Take care.